So, I can't agree with that. Then we get into the Giants release Daniel Jones. Like, honestly, bro, like the Giants really, 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 like, I respect a lot of Giants players. And this is the thing that kind of bothers me with it just doesn't make sense, bro. Like, I'm going to be honest, like, this whole thing with the Giants we all saw the Hard Knocks of Giants. They said we wanted to build around Daniel Jones. Now Saquon, seems like they really couldn't build around no one because Saquon is thriving without them. Saquon is putting his best year in the NFL. I think he's on pace to have the best year in NFL history, and we'll get into that, without the Giants. I just think, I don't know if it's the culture. I don't know if it's the coaching. I mean, listen to Malik Neighbors. He says, not the QB. Doesn't matter. Still happening. So what could it be? And we're not throwing shots at anybody.
Quarterback. I mean, take a look. It ain't the quarterback.
So what do you think?
What is it? I don't know what it is. Everybody know better than me. Is it the play calling?
We'll take 3 more.
I don't know.
I mean, is he right? Obviously, it's not Saquon. It's not DJ. What is it? What could it possibly be? This is always like the hard part, right? You see these really good players that go into different situations and they thrive better. Sometimes it's really not the players. Sometimes it has a lot to do with the organization. And you see it a lot across the league. Christian McCaffrey, what he was doing at the Panthers, yes, he was bad injuries, but he goes to the 49ers, he's Offensive Player of the Year. It's just starting to become like a trend. Obviously you see players from good, like obviously Devontae Adams make the same impact he makes no matter what team he's on, but you kind of look, Xavier McKinney, he was at the Giants. He's at the Packers, he has 7 interceptions. So it's kind of like, what is it? They paid him a 4-year, $160 million deal. And they chose not to bring Saquon back. So it's kind of like very frustrating decision overall. But it's honestly a sad situation, bro. You kind of let all this talent walk away. And they're all thriving. And the talent and the crazy part is the Giants has a really, really good roster. They have a really good roster. Brian Burns, Dexter Lawrence. Dexter Lawrence should be in the conversation for Defensive Player of the Year. Kayvon Thibodeau, Isaiah Simmons, Banks. Like, they have a really, really good roster defensively. Offensively, Wan'Dale Robinson is a really good player. Malik Neighbors came into the league striking. He's a really, really good player. Tyrone Tracy's a really good player. But is he Saquon? No. But they're good players. They have a good roster. Their O-line, they're kind of banged up. Obviously lost Thomas and things like that. But they have a good roster. Like, the roster is pretty sound, I must say. They have a really good roster. They just got to find a way, put it together. And I know they're coming to Dallas hungry. They're coming to Dallas hungry. I know they are. It's going to be a great game. Dallas Cowboys versus Giants is always a very hard fought, good game. Even when we was in New York, that was a great game. But it's just it's very frustrating. As Giants players, they're probably a lot of frustrated. Like Leonard Williams is still having a good year. He had 2.5 sacks this past weekend. So a lot of good players, walked away, but it's just and they're thriving and they're winning at the new organizations. But, it seems like they couldn't find a way to win at, the organization they was at. So I get the frustration part, but it's just how do you let these type of guys walk away? Because Saquon's up for MVP now. I mean, I knew it would be really good. And I'm going to say this too. When a lot of people are overthinking this, and I said it to my group chat, I probably said the text message, I said Saquon's about to go outrageous in Philly. You know why? Let's look over the past 3 years. Look what Philly has done for the running backs throughout history, right?
Tommy, if we were practicing today on a walkthrough, he would be limited. His forearm is sore, and we'll see where we're at. He's we had a walkthrough right before this. It is sore, so we'll see where we're at here.
Is he thrown yet?
He threw in the walkthrough. I wouldn't say it's timing or a lot of depth to it or velocity to it, but he was throwing in the walkthrough. He's going to test it out here today in practice in another walkthrough. So I'm hopeful, but it's not 100%.
Do you have to give? Yeah, I know it's a walkthrough, but
Yeah. I'm going to give Drew a few snaps here, and see. We'll go ahead and we've got a lot of time on task with the walkthroughs, the stuff that we've put in. We just had one, earlier. So, but I'm going to give Drew a few of those. But if Tommy's good, then Tommy would be the guy.
Did this happen on a hit or just like on a throw?
Yeah, no, he was sore from the game, naturally playing, but it bothered him a little bit. And right before I got out here, we were talking about it, and I was talking to the trainers about it. So just sharing it with you.
His throwing arm.
It is, yeah.
Did you in the injury report yesterday?
It didn't. Just this morning, like today, he was out there with the sleeve on. I'm like, you good? He's like, yeah, I'll be good. I'm a little sore here. So I just got it right now, Pat. It was sore today.
What with the other guys that are on the injury report who were at DNP yesterday?
Yeah, Jermaine, if we were practicing, he would not practice. Aziz and Armand Watts, none of those guys would practice if we had a practice today. So,
how's Evan Neal? I know yesterday he was
yeah,
projected
he'll
as a did
be
not
on
practice,
the
but
injury report. It's his hip. I would say I'm optimistic that he should be ready to go. Again, it's a little bit harder, obviously, with not doing much, but I think he should be ready to go, Jordan.
Those three guys you mentioned, though, Illuminor, Aziz, and Watts, do you think they're unlikely for that?
Just let it go all the way up to the game time to see where they're at, but they would not practice today.
You were playing in this game recently, obviously.
A bunch I have.
I mean, the Thursday game against Cowboys,
Yeah.
even though that game didn't go well, at
Yeah.
least being through that experience, could that help your guys?
Thursday? Well, look, it's always a little bit of a different schedule on short weeks. So we'll do what we think is best. We've had a lot of walkthroughs. We've had a lot of meeting time. That's really all you can do to get yourself mentally prepared. And physically, you're not going to do a whole bunch just having played a game on Sunday.
Is Thanksgiving any different than any other Thursday game? Or?
Yeah, it's a privilege to play on Thanksgiving. You remember, I remember sitting there with my grandfather and watching the games on Thanksgiving when there's only a couple of them. But I've participated in this game on Thanksgiving in my career quite a bit. It's always a privilege.
Is it a sore throwing arm or a sore other arm?
No, it's just throwing arm. Yep.
Dave, when you have a game like you had on Sunday
Yeah.
where nobody was happy, would you rather be in a situation where you get out on the practice field a couple of days and kind of work through things, or can this work to benefit, or do you really have no choice?
Yeah, well, it's a schedule, so we'll go ahead and do everything we can do to be as prepared as we can be.
You scratch your head and say, how do we go 10 games without an interception?
Yeah, I would say, look, we got to do a better job of taking the ball away, which there were some good things last week. We missed the one obviously right there on the goal line, and we had another one where they recovered it, the one that Micah jumped on. So we got to continue to do a good job of trying to take the football away from a team's offense and special teams.
What sense have you gotten about the morale in the meeting rooms?
Yeah, look, nobody's happy with where we're at, Steve, but look, we got positive mindset. We got to get ready. You can control the things you control, which is this week. But I've said this before, I got a good appreciation for the people in the building.
You've done this all season, and I don't think we've asked you, why do you
That's okay.
take flat out and put a Dorian in those passing downs? What's the thought process there?
Yeah, I think that Shane and Jerome have kind of a good system with what they use in terms of the amount of reps and certain situations that they play those guys in, and situations that they feel comfortable with. All good?
Okay.
Thanks, guys.
I have something to ask you about with Malik, and even with Deontay Banks. When he has a couple times earlier in the year where there's questions about his effort, you come out here, your approach is, I talked to him behind closed doors, there's not much to it. With Malik, same thing the other day. That can be perceived by a lot of people as, hey, you're enabling these young guys to sort of do what they want. What do you say when you hear that?
Yeah, I'd say we have good, open conversations about it with whoever that may be, whether it's one of those guys, somebody else. I'm confident in those young players, and we'll keep developing them.
Do you feel like they're learning from their mistakes? I mean, I don't know if you view it as a mistake, but Malik obviously came out publicly as a rookie in this league, had some pretty strong comments.
Yeah, look, I do think our conversations are very productive, not just with them, with veterans and things like that, and you're always continuing to grow.
Is there a balance? Continue on Jordan's kind of train, like having a rookie speak out and speak their mind versus, like, I don't want to say put them in line per se, but just to where they, like, I guess.
Yeah, look, I think I'm very confident in the relationship I have with our guys, whether they're rookies, whether they're veterans. And we have good, productive conversations, and we look to improve, every day.
We got to go. Be perceived, obviously, and you know how it can be perceived, and like with Deontay, it took you to, as you got further down the line before you took him out of the lineup. I know that's your approach. Why do you personally choose that approach? Like to come up here and not say, hey, he needs to do better. We're not happy with what he did. Instead, handling it behind closed doors.
Yeah, I just think it's important to have open and honest communication with the players or the coaches, and I have a lot of faith in those guys, and teach them the things